When you picture Salvador Dalí, you instantly see those iconic melting clocks dripping over a barren landscape, don't you? You probably imagine a wild-eyed genius with an outrageously long mustache, a walking, talking enigma of the art world. He's the undisputed king of surrealism, the master of dreamscapes and psychological puzzles. But what if the sensational truth behind those melting clocks and that flamboyant persona is even more bizarre and calculated than you ever imagined? What if Dalí was less a madman and more a marketing mastermind, orchestrating every single surreal detail of his life and art for maximum impact? Get ready to dive headfirst into the mind of Salvador Dalí, because the secrets behind his most famous works, his outrageous public stunts, and his lasting legacy are about to completely reframe how you see one of history's most fascinating artists. You might think you know Dal, but trust us, you only know the surface of his meticulously crafted madness. Did you know that the inspiration for those legendary melting clocks in the persistence of memory might have come from a piece of Camembert cheese? Yes, that's right, a soft, ripe piece of cheese melting under the Spanish sun. Dalí himself recounted that after a particularly tiring dinner, he was contemplating a plate of Camembert when the vision of melting watches appeared. He painted the masterpiece in just a few hours. This mundane observation transformed into one of the most profound symbols of distorted time in art history. It's a testament to his Paranoiac-Critical method, a technique he developed to systematically access subconscious thoughts and interpret irrational imagery. This method wasn't just about dreams, it was a way to blur the lines between reality and imagination. Dalí believed this self-induced paranoia could unlock hidden connections in the mind, much like a detective finding clues. Think about how your own mind sometimes makes strange links between unrelated ideas. Dalí simply made an art form out of it. But Dalí's life was as meticulously crafted as his canvases. Born Salvador Dalí Domecq in Figueres, Catalonia, Spain, in 1904, his childhood was already steeped in surreal tragedy. He was named after his older brother, also named Salvador, who had died 9 months before Dalí was born. His parents even took young Dal to his brother's grave and told him he was his reincarnation. Can you imagine the psychological weight of growing up in the shadow of a deceased sibling, constantly reminded you were a replacement? This profoundly shaped Dalí's understanding of identity and mortality, themes that repeatedly surfaced in his art. He was a precocious talent, attending the Royal Academy of Fine Arts of San Fernando in Madrid, where he experimented with Cubism and Futurism. He was influenced by the likes of Pablo Picasso and Joan Mir, but Dalí always had an edge, a flair for the dramatic that set him apart. His early works already showed flashes of the hyperrealism that would later become his signature. He applied painstaking detail to fantastical subjects, making the impossible seem tangible. Then came Gala. Elena Ivanovna, a Russian immigrant 10 years his senior, was already married to surrealist poet Paul Lord. When Dal met her in 1929, she became his muse, his manager, his lover, and his lifelong obsession. She was the one who grounded his wild imagination, the business brain behind his artistic genius. Their relationship was tumultuous, passionate, and utterly essential to Dalí's career. She shielded him from the world, managed his finances, and even pushed him to paint when his inspiration faltered. The Surrealist movement, spearheaded by André Breton, initially embraced Dalí. Breton, a writer and theorist, defined surrealism as pure psychic automatism, by which one proposes to express, verbally, by means of the written word or in any other manner, the actual functioning of thought. Dalí's work, with its dream logic and Freudian symbolism, seemed like the perfect embodiment of this idea. He painted deeply unsettling images of dismembered bodies, sexual anxieties, and melting forms, all rendered with an almost photographic precision. Take swans reflecting elephants from 1937, for example. At first glance, you see 3 swans on a lake, but their reflections in the water transform into elephants. It's a classic example of his Paranoiac-Critical method in action, forcing the viewer to see multiple images in a single composition. This visual trickery wasn't just clever, it was a psychological exercise, demonstrating how perception itself can be fluid and subjective. It's a literal representation of how the mind can interpret the same information in vastly different ways. Dalí's connection to psychology went beyond just painting dreams. He famously met Sigmund Freud in London in 1938. Dalí had long been an admirer of Freud's work on the subconscious, seeing it as the theoretical foundation for surrealism. Freud, initially dismissive of surrealists, was reportedly impressed by Dalí's intensity and skill, observing that the artist was a complete fanatic, a very skillful fanatic. This meeting was a validation for Dalí, affirming his belief in the profound psychological depths of his art. But Dalí's eccentricities weren't confined to the canvas. His public persona was a carefully cultivated spectacle. He once delivered a lecture at the London International Surrealist Exhibition in 1930, 6 wearing a deep sea diving helmet and a full suit. He almost suffocated, needing to be rescued by writer David Gascoigne with a wrench. Why the diving suit? Dalí explained he was descending into the depths of the human subconscious. Was it a profound artistic statement or a calculated publicity stunt? With Dalí, it was always both. This flair for the dramatic eventually caused a rift with the surrealist group. André Breton, exasperated by Dalí's increasing commercialism and his refusal to condemn fascism, famously expelled him in 1939. Breton even coined the anagram Avida dollars for Dalí, meaning eager for dollars, criticizing his blatant pursuit of money. Yet, Dalí embraced the nickname, understanding that controversy and visibility were key to his brand. He knew that for art to truly resonate in the modern world, it had to reach beyond the gallery walls. And reach beyond he did. Dalí was a pioneer in blurring the lines between fine art and popular culture. He collaborated with fashion designer Elsa Schiaparelli, creating iconic pieces like the lobster telephone and the shoe hat. Imagine wearing a hat shaped like a high-heeled shoe! He designed jewelry, furniture, and even perfume bottles. His vision stretched into cinema, working with Alfred Hitchcock on the dream sequence for the 1945 film Spellbound. The sequence, with its melting eyes and disjointed imagery, brought Dalí's surreal aesthetic to a mass audience. Perhaps one of his most fascinating and largely unfinished collaborations was with Walt Disney. In 1946, Dalí and Disney began working on an animated short film titled Destino. The project was shelved due to financial difficulties but was resurrected and completed in 2003, long after both artists had passed away. The film is a stunning 6-minute odyssey of surreal imagery set to a haunting score, showcasing Dalí's meticulous storyboards and Disney's innovative animation. It's a breathtaking fusion of two creative giants, proving Dalí's versatility across different mediums. He wasn't afraid to endorse products either. Dalí appeared in commercials for chocolates, cars, and even airline companies. He redesigned the logo for Chupa Chups Lollipops in 1969, giving the sweet treat its instantly recognizable daisy shape. How many artists of his caliber would willingly delve into commercial advertising? Dalí saw no distinction. For him, art was everywhere, and everything could be art. He understood the power of brand and image long before it became a commonplace concept. His personal life was equally unconventional. Dalí had a pet ocelot named Babou, which he frequently took with him to restaurants and social events. Imagine walking into a fancy Parisian restaurant and seeing a man with a wild mustache and a leopard, like cat on a leash. This wasn't just a pet, it was another extension of his eccentric, carefully constructed persona. Babou even reportedly ate his owner's drawings on occasion. As he aged, Dalí's fascination shifted towards science, particularly quantum physics and DNA. He explored themes like nuclear mysticism, attempting to reconcile his Catholic faith with the mysteries of the atomic age. Works like Lita Atomica 1949 or Corpus Hypercubus 1954, which depicts Christ on a tesseract, show his engagement with geometry and scientific theories. He was always seeking new frontiers, both artistic and intellectual. He wasn't just painting, he was exploring the very fabric of existence and perception. One of his most enduring legacies is the Dalí Theater, museum in his hometown of Figueres, Spain. Dalí himself designed and curated much of it, turning a former municipal theater into a surrealist masterpiece. The museum is not just a collection of his works, it's an immersive experience, a reflection of his mind. It features a giant egg sculpture on the roof, a stage that showcases his elaborate sets, and countless hidden details. It's a testament to his belief that art should be a total environment, a living, breathing spectacle. You might think that Dalí's constant pursuit of fame and fortune diluted his artistic integrity, but this is perhaps the greatest myth to bust. While some critics dismissed him as a sellout, his commercial ventures ironically made his art accessible to millions. He became a household name and icon, pushing the boundaries of what an artist could be and do. He proved that high art didn't have to be confined to elite galleries. He democratized surrealism, making it part of popular culture. He predated Andy Warhol's pop art ethos by decades, making himself a brand before branding was a buzzword. His influence permeates modern entertainment. Think about dream sequences in movies like Christopher Nolan's Inception, or the visually stunning worlds of music videos. Dalí's impact on visual storytelling is undeniable. Fashion designers continue to draw inspiration from his outlandish creations. His meticulous craftsmanship, combined with his fearless exploration of the subconscious, continues to challenge and inspire artists today. You see echoes of his dream logic in video games, graphic novels, and even digital art installations. So, the next time you see those famous melting clocks, don't just see a quirky painting. See the audacious genius of Salvador Dalí, a man who not only painted dreams but lived one too. A visionary who used a piece of cheese to ponder the nature of time and turned himself into the most sensational, surreal artwork of all,